Hi everyone, welcome to Becky's Crafts and Goodies. Today we are going to do another little Valentine's idea, but this can be adapted and it can be given for any kind of present, not just Valentine's. This would make a fantastic Mother's Day gift as well. I'm going to show you a little bit of a process, how you can jazz up and decorate a wooden piece using some paint, some napkins, and kind of doing some little different effects on it just to make something really nice and completely different. So it's not going to look anything like this when it's done. Obviously the shape will be the same, but that's all. Now this came from the works, I do believe, originally. I did buy this from a lady that was doing a crafty D stash at like one of these market things. I think it was like 50p or a pound or something like that. So what I'm going to do to start with is just get my little bit of sandpaper and just sand the edges because it's a little bit rough around the edge there. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm also going to put over a layer of this grey paint. Now this is the Decoupage Americana acrylic paint, and it's in this lovely grey colour. So this is going to be our like base colour underneath, because what we're going to do is like do a different effect where we put white or a lighter colour over the top, and then we're going to sand it down and kind of bring those colours through. So that's the effect we're going to go for on this, and I think I might put this on my table in the dining room. So first of all, I'm just going to start by sanding the piece down. Alright, so let's pour a bit of this in. I might give that a stir round first because it looks a little bit weird. So let's do that back up, or I could give it a shake. That would do the same thing. Let's see if that's any better. Yeah, that looks better. So I'm just going to pour some in this little tub. I've said before, I tend to save these little like plastic tubs because they're ideal for things like this. So just get your brush and paint the inside. And remember, this is not the colour that it's going to finish up. This is going to be the bit that's underneath. Was painting that, I did have the idea, and I thought I had, or I could do one of these boxes. Now this came from Hobbycraft, and I thought about doing this because you guys could actually pick these up. So you can get those online at Hobbycraft. I don't know, maybe the Works or somewhere like that might sell them, or the Range. It's always worth trying there as well. So at the same time as doing this, while I'm waiting for that to dry, I am going to start and paint this. I'm going to do them both exactly the same kind of design, but because this is wood, then I'll be able to kind of sand it and get the colour out from underneath. But because this is not wood, it's like more like a papery cardboard type material, I'll be just putting one colour. So like the finished colour will be going on the top, and we won't be sanding it. So they'll look very, very similar, but we won't be kind of sanding that part. We'll just be, you know, decorating this one the same. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to start and paint this. This is just an extra kind of thing that I thought I'd do, because if you can't get anything like this, you might think, oh, I can't do this video. But thinking, oh yes, I can get a box or a small box. They do like smaller boxes as well. You could maybe decorate that for Valentine. That would be absolutely, you know, that'd be fine. It would be really nice. Right, so I'm just going to finish painting this now, and it looks like this is going to need a couple of coats. So I'll do this one, let that dry, and then I'll do another coat as well, and then in between that I'll probably paint the bottom of the other one and then kind of like alternate them and get them all both painted. The next stage, now this is dry, I've done both sides. I'm going to go over it with some paint. Now the paint I'm using is this one. It's the same one that I covered the extra box we're doing. It's the chalk acrylic and it's in lace. It's the Americana Décor. I'm going to give it one coat to start with. It may need two, but if it does, that's absolutely cool. We'll just go with it. I've done two on the other piece because obviously it's just like a cardboard underneath. So I'll go over this. I've just poured this into a little bowl, like a little kids sort of party bowl. And they're the sort of things that I keep, so I can just use for this sort of thing. So I'm just going to paint now. So now these are done and dry, we're going to decorate them and also distress this wooden box here as well. So this is the extra one that I've decided to do for you guys, just to show you how you can do that. I'll put that to one side for a second and I'll show you how to do this. So it was a few days ago since I first started doing this, and let me just take out a piece of sandpaper, because what we're going to do is to, if you remember, we put some grey paint underneath and we're just going to lightly sand some edges and some different areas, and that will bring the colour through that's underneath. So let me show you what I mean. I've got a light grade sandpaper here, and all I'm going to do is just rub it along the side like that, and if you can see, apply as much pressure as you need to, depending how many layers of paint that you've got. But as you go through, you'll be able to get rid of the white, a bit of the white on the top in certain areas, and it will bring the grey through. And you just want to do that around the piece in certain areas, and it just brings a little bit of a different look to your piece. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but you can see little bits of grey in between there. So all I'm going to do now is just to lightly sand in just different places, bits and bobs here and there, just to get the grey to come through. Just show you, I've not gone mad. I've just done, you know, a few little bits, not gone too much on it. So as you can see, there's the little bits there. I just think it makes it, you know, gives it a little bit of something else. So then what I did was I got quite a big paintbrush and just brushed all the bits and pieces off. You can, if you wanted to, wipe it down with a very, very, very lightly damp kind of cloth. That's another thing you can do, but don't get it sort of soaked or wet, really wet, you know. So what we're going to do now is to pick some napkins to put on the top. So I have got some decoupage tutorials, and I will link those in the description as well. I've got quite a bit of a selection of napkins. I've been collecting them for a couple of years. I mean, this one's quite pretty. What you need to do is to check the when you're looking for a napkin, to check the colour of the background of the napkin, because it needs to be around about the same colour so it sort of blends in. So these kind of colours would be pretty cool, although this has got sort of a grey tone to it. Remember, we've got the greys underneath as well. Here's a few more. These are not really, these are not suitable at all, but I just wanted to show you. These will probably be doing some different projects with these as the time goes on and the summer. So you can buy some quite pretty napkins really. I mean, that would look quite nice in there. So let me show you the technique now and show you how you do it, because it is so much easier than probably what you would think. I've just gone through my napkins and I'm going to pick this one. I really like the flowers on there and I like the background colour, and I think that would go really nice. So I'm going to go for quite a big piece, and as it's nearly Valentine's Day, if I wanted to, I could also put that wording on as well. So that is something you can do. You can sort of put print on and all sorts of things. So I'll just pop that to one side for a second and we'll get the napkin ready. So as I said to you before, I have got lots of videos on decoupage on the channel, so please do check them out if you are new to it, you know, or you're not sure how to do certain things. So I'm just going to pull out this part of the napkin. I think these flowers look really cute, so I'm just going around it with a paintbrush, and this is sort of separating it. Now people do cut them, you can cut them rather than go around it, but we're actually going to rip the napkin, and that gives it like a bit of a, well, it's not so straight, the edges are not straight, and I find that that blends a lot better. And there are so many sellers for napkins. There's about 2, 3, possibly 4 people that I like on eBay, and I have linked them in previous videos, so pop back and have a look. But if not, just go onto eBay and put in decoupage napkin, and you'll find lots of people. You can do you can buy them in just 4s, so you don't have to buy a full pack, because obviously designs are nice, but you don't always want lots of the same design unless it's your dead favourite, you know. So I'm just going to put that to one side. That's the main part that I've got, and napkins come in 3 layers as a rule, not all the time but mostly. So what we're going to do is just separate those, so you just have to pull them away. I'll just lick my fingers and then kind of stick them like that, and it generally does it. And this is where you have to be really delicate. So I've got something sticky on my hand and it's sticking to my finger. So just pull that away like that, and you have this really thin top layer with the print on, and that's the bit that we're going to stick on here. So I'm just going to get my Mod Podge. Again, this is a basic item that loads of crafters have in their stash. I would definitely recommend getting some Mod Podge. I've said it before, you can get the matte Mod Podge, or you can get the shiny one, the gloss. I like to use the matte. Get your brush. Oh, nearly forgot to get my cling film ready. I always forget to get this ready at this stage. And what this does is it helps you to stick the piece down. So when you've got it out, roughly work out where you want it to go. So I want mine in the middle. Just move it a bit so you can see. Put that carefully to one side, and then we're going to get some of the Mod Podge. Now Mod Podge is brilliant because it's a water-based sealer. It acts also as a glue and a finish as well, so I use lots of this in projects. I know it's very, very popular stuff. And I mentioned before that this was one of the first crafts that I started doing. And once I did this, I was completely hooked. It's so addictive. So I'm just going to stand up now just so I can stand over the top. So very carefully lower your piece of napkin down where you want it. Then get your cling film and go over the top. Now, what the cling film does is it allows you to touch the napkin without it ripping. You have to be very gentle. So don't think you can, go in and be all rough with it. You have to still be quite gentle. Start from the inside and work your way out, and just push like that and push to the outside. And people will wonder how you've done it, because when I first started, people thought I painted it on, which obviously I didn't. And then when you think it's all down, you just peel it back like that, and then your design is now completely stuck on there. Don't be tempted to go back to it with your brush and poke about with it, because that's when things get ripped. I've done that so many times and ruined it and had to start again, to take it all off and begin again. So what you can do is you could, I mean, I really like it like that. It doesn't have to be too fussy. You know, you can put sort of more flowers at the corner, which I might do. Let's have a look on the napkin. So what you can do is you can take your napkin, pull it out. We've got some nice bits of greenery here. They could go out. They'd look quite nice, sort of draped over the side. So I might do that. You don't have to take the whole picture. You can take like part of it and just maybe stick that on the side. And obviously, as I said to you, you can put the wording on as well. So I'm just going to decorate it a little bit more. I really like it plain like that. I think you could just leave it like that. It looks nice as it is. I'm just going to put a few more bits on this. Once we've done this one, we'll move on to the other box. So I think I'm going to stop there. I've cut that out. I mean, if you're doing it as like a Valentine's present, then that would be really cool. It would be really good. If you're doing it as obviously a Mother's Day, then I'd probably leave something like that out because it's got because of the wording, but I'm going to just stick that on in this instance because obviously we've got Valentine's Day coming up. So I'm going to put it at just a slight angle. I've got to be careful because I have glue on my hands, so when you do that it becomes a little bit tricky when you're manoeuvring really thin bits. So I'm just going to press that down very lightly, and then that should be cool. So what I'm going to do is to leave that to dry. Once that's dry, we'll go over the top with another layer of matte Mod Podge. So I'm going to go over the whole lot, including the napkins as well, and that will be that one completely finished. So now we're going to do this one. That's all dry and ready. We'll start by decorating the top. Now I think this napkin would be really nice. It's around about the right size picture with the little flowers on the top just to fill up most of the lid. So we'll do it in exactly the same way. We'll go round it and stick it on the top. Now I really love that. I think that looks so pretty. So I'm just going to let that dry. And this part here, I don't think I'm going to decoupage with the napkins. I am going to put some kind of lace over. So I'll just make sure I've worked out sort of where it fits. And I'm going to go over the rest of the piece in a layer of matte Mod Podge just to seal it. And then I'll decorate this one with the lace. We're just going to finish this one off here. So I've gone over the whole of this again, the same as the other one with the Mod Podge. That's dried, and I'm going to decorate the bottom part. So I've got some of this like lacy stuff that was just in my stash, and all I'm going to do is just glue it around the bottom with my glue gun. So I just think that looks really, really pretty. So I've got my hot glue gun on now. This is just a stick it hot glue gun that I got from the range, I think it came from. They do sell them on Amazon, but I bought mine from the range. And all I'm going to do is go round and stick some glue in various places. I'm going to try and put it on these flowers if I can, because they're sort of the biggest area. Just trying to do it so you guys can see as well. And then we'll put the lid on when this is done. Now, if I'd thought about it for a second, I probably would have put the seam at the back, not at the front, but I didn't think about it. So I'm just going to trim that off. Hopefully it won't be too noticeable, so I'm going to stick it down, then just trim it again. I'd say this really could have done with being at the back rather than at the front, but I think we'll be able to get round it okay. Just stick these down, pop another glue stick in. We should be fine. There we go, you can't really see that too much. And there's like this mesh that goes around the top. I think that looks really pretty. I did think about cutting it off, but I actually really quite like the effect, so I'm going to leave that on. So if you get any like stringy bits of the glue gun, just pull those off, and there we go. That's what it looks like. I love that. I love like lace and that kind of pretty look. So let's move that to one side, and then we'll just pop the lid on. And they're both finished now, so I just want to show you the finished items. So I'm really quite pleased with them. I think putting the extra little bits on there make it look quite sweet. So that's the large one, and then we've got this one here with the lid on. And again, I think that looks really, really pretty, but you can just put whatever designs on that you want. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this. I've certainly enjoyed making these for you. If you haven't already subscribed, then please do. And also, please leave comments down, because I love reading the comments, and I do try to reply to them, as many as I can, but I do read them all in any case. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye for now.